and we are in quarantine.
We're in the big lockdown.
Listen, I had to do something with the intro relating to fucking Corona.
Yeah. I just want to say this right now, okay? Because everyone's saying this at the minute. Stay indoors, fam. It's not that hard, okay?
Stay home.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen. America is getting absolutely shifted right now. America's
our
like...
leadership is trash, and that would be why. And,
America went from, hey guys, I'm Donald Trump, I'll make sure this corona doesn't kill everyone, to, oh fuck, we have the most reports. Hey!
He's literally killing people. Like, he was like, chloroquine can cure corona, and then some dude drank it and fucking died. And his wife was like, don't listen to Donald Trump, he's a liar. And I was like, yeah, I don't think it would take my husband dying for me to know that, but like, if that tells you anything about the Republican cult in our country, there you go. People have to actually die, and my grandmother still thinks he's doing a good job. He is not. But we didn't come here to shitpost politics. That's what I do in the Fluid server.
That's what I do on fucking Twitter.
Yeah, like, I'm just
Twitter.
saying this.
I'm professional on Twitter.
Professional Twitter? What?
What?
I said professional on Twitter because I do commissions from there, so it's just like it's my art account. So I don't put politics on there in case, you know, like.
Can you help me then? Because why can't I draw faces, fam?
It's literally just practice. Like, people are like...
No, it
like,
looks...
wow,
They always look obscured, fam.
They're like, how do you draw so well? And I'm like, practice. They're like, wow, such a mistake.
I can draw
I wish I was
amazing things. But you know what my problem is?
Wow.
It's proportion.
It's amazing.
It's like... How would you get, like, stuff, like, looking the same size? And, like, I'll start drawing on, like, the end of the page. And then, like... I'll be doing like a shoulder or something like that, and it'll be in like the middle of the page. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Like, legit, I can tell you, but I could teach you this. But to be honest, a lot of it is just you want to draw from references and from life, so you get a good feeling of it. Like I'm a traditional artist, and I tend to draw a lot of fantasy, so I am mostly pulling stuff from my mind. But I frequently take photos of myself, or like in the pose that I want, or something like that, and then I use those pose references to kind of guide me. And you get a feel for that. There's several different methods to, like, if you're drawing people, especially if that's the kind of perspective you're talking about, there are several different methods where it's just measurements and things. You can use your pencil to kind of like measure it out, and it's just like techniques and learning. Like, it's a lot of practice and a lot of seeing. It's learning to sort of look at things like an artist. Which is
I'll send some of my art now in the group chat, and I'll show you how bad it is.
Yo, Yigs, I might commission you for some stuff now, because I've been...
Yeah, I bet.
Because I've got a few profile pics that have just popped into my mind that I want made now.
Yeah, I will always take commissions, and for you guys, I'll make it kind of cheap. Because, like, let me be honest, I'm not so amazing that I can charge, like a ton of money. I charge about, for those of you who have seen some of the art, it's usually between, like, $30 to $60, like, it's not a ton, and then that's for a full piece, so profile pics, whatever. I don't really do digital.
Yeah, I can only draw characters. I can't draw, like, I gotta have like some kind of reference. I cannot draw from mind.
I can draw stick figures.
That's completely, like, valid. There are several types of ways to draw. Like, I cannot really draw photorealistically. Have you ever seen those drawings that people are like, here's a picture of Patrick Stewart, and it looks like a photo? So those kind of people work exclusively from a reference. They use like a grid type system. That it's the same kind of thing that you could use. If I showed you, like, it's like a 5-minute search on Google to show you how to do it, and you could draw photorealistically, like, starting today. I tend to draw from my mind because I'm very creative, and the things that I come up with are like fantasy, and it's from a creation standpoint. But that's a different type of drawing than doing photorealistically. There's all different types of art that each person can do, like, according to their strengths.
Yeah, see, I think my biggest problem is, like, you know when you see people draw, how they have, like, they'll draw, like, for faces and, I don't know, whatever, they'll have, like, the circles and, like, the crosses, so they know where the eyes are going to be and stuff like that. I can't do that. I can't have anything on the page because it does my head in.
Well, it's called like, those are technically called underdrawings, and like, if you have somebody, if you're just looking at them and like no one's ever taught you like what the purpose of those are and how to think about it, like, yeah, you're probably not going to do so well with that tool. Like any tool, you have to learn how to use it. Like, if you want to draw more proportional heads, I recommend the Loomis method. Like, that's a great way to do it. I used to be the same way and be like, well, I don't need that. And it turns out I did need that, and it helps a lot more. It's just learning to be comfortable with it. Like, I could teach you, like, with I've got a whiteboard right here. I know we're not here for art lessons, but if you want one, I could like run that by you real quick and you could help.
I mean, hey, we're in quarantine, so man hasn't got much on his list.
I'm not here for art lessons.
I put in the group chat my terrible art, and I did.
No art is terrible. It just is room for improvement, like concrete, you know? And it's
room for improvement. I literally freehand every single drawing I've ever done in my life.
Well, that's what I do too. I freehand everything. But like art is, like, it's subjective, and using concrete, you can learn from it. Like, one of the things I think a lot of people mess up when they're wanting to learn how to do art is like, this is such a common thing I see all the time. I was victim to this when I was younger too. They don't want to learn to draw like from references or not even photorealistically. They don't want to draw like realism. They're like, I want to draw anime, so they skip right to that. Like, the thing about art, the people that draw good manga style or good anime, they all have their basis in drawing traditional figure drawing, because it's one of those things where you have to know the rules in order to break them. So that's why I see like there's so many weebs, and they're like, why can't I ever get better? My drawings don't look like my favorite anime or whatever, and it's because they refuse to learn to do this. Where I'm like, well, you want to learn to just draw like normal kind of, I don't even know if it's Western style, but just like people not in anime or not in cartoon style or whatever. You got to learn to break the rules. Because if when I go over cartoons, I can point out to you like, here's where it was normal anatomy, and here's what they did to it to make it appear that way, instead of it just being off proportion. It's like a whole thing. Yeah, art's really cool. It's about willing to get better in art. You have to, sort of like Overwatch, you have to be able to take concrete and try to vary up methods. Like, in Overwatch, for example, if you play like flat comp, right? You learn a lot of bad habits that you cannot do in like Masters or GM or in tournament play. Like, you're rewarded for doing, in like Plat and Gold, you're rewarded for doing some things that are like not good in competitive team play for older. For example, like down in like Gold and Plat, some of the things that you get rewarded for is going off and getting kills on your own, or like maybe pocket mercying something. You don't play as a team. Like, sometimes you have to go in and get kills and you know, get your team to push. And then if you do that kind of stuff in like Masters or whatever, you're going to get punished for it. You learn bad habits. Art's kind of the same way in that you have to be willing to sort of get rid of your bad habits. Even if it feels like it makes you worse temporarily, it's better in the long run.
Yeah, it's one of those things with drawing, like, to me, I'm very, like, I'll look at something and I'll kind of, like, draw off of, like, what I can see, like shape-wise, and that's how I kind of, like, draw. I kind of just, like, draw shapes. And my biggest problem when it comes to art is, like, I criticize myself too much. I look at it and I go, that's stupid. Rub it out. That looks stupid. Rub it out.
By the way, that is just, I feel like that's just literally part of, like, art culture. Everyone hates their own drawing. I can show you, for example, I did a fantastically mediocre drawing trying to learn to using some colored pencils. I am much more proficient in just black and white, pen and pencil. Coloring is not something, I never really had the money to get some nice colored pencils. I don't have the equipment to draw digitally, so I finally got some, and like, wow, it's going to take me a lot of practice to learn how to use these with any sort of mastery. I can show you that drawing now, and I guarantee you that if I hadn't said anything about it, you guys would probably think it was pretty good. And even saying this, you might be inclined to tell me, oh no, actually I think that's rather well done. Until if I come and then I start pointing out to you all of the things that are wrong, you'll come to see it like I do. But you have to that's something I've had to sort of learn to be kind to myself in my drawings, is that, you know, the people that I'm showing it to frequently don't have the same knowledge that I do about art. And so to them, it may look great. I see all of the little mistakes that I should have done differently, like perhaps I should have done the color balancing slightly different or used the rule of thirds to make your eye go where I wanted it to. Well, that's not something that the layperson understands. I mean, they could if I explained it. So you have to like kind of take it where like, okay, you know what? It's probably not as bad as you think. You're going to be hypercritical about yourself. The big problem is letting that stop you. If being critical and not liking it is not like, if you just give up or you refuse to show your art or you refuse to learn from those mistakes because it's just like you're making them all the time, so why try? Like, that's when there's a problem. You just want to keep going, because like every time, even if your art is dumb or goofy or there's something wrong with it, you learn from that. Like, I can go over and I can look at things I did a year ago and see massive improvement, you know, from months, just practicing, drawing every day kind of thing. Like, I could post it in the... there was an art chat. I can post what I was talking about. The art I did. Oh yeah, there is an art chat. You could put it in there too. Yours if you wanted.
The thing is, I draw for like people to go, oh, that looks sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's like that's the reason why I draw, is because I want people to like be like, oh my god, like that's quite good, to be fair. That's why I draw anyway. That's like my personal thing for it.
Well, that's the goodest way to draw if you want to draw for compliments. That's great. That's as good a reason as any. Mine is usually because I have images in my head and I want to get them out. I especially love like bringing people's characters to life from D&D, from roleplay, from things like that where they inhabit they're called paracosms actually. When you ever knew a kid that made up like a whole world in their head, or maybe you did, like you had a whole world with its own like economy and characters and things like that. Those are called paracosms. And like I love bringing people's internal visions, like I'm able to pull it out of their head when they do an interview with me, and then I can put it on paper. This character right here, I just put it in there. This is, you know, the one I was talking about where I was, you know, highly mediocre job with some colored pencils there. But it's a friend's first D&D character. And so, you know, she liked it. She was, you know, it's really fun to post the descriptions up. Like, one of the ways that I get a lot of practice is on Reddit. There's a subreddit called Character Drawing, and it's like people post up, like, requests that are about their, like, D&D character. It's frequently D&D or role-playing character, like, games. Sometimes, like, people are writing books or comics or short stories, and they want to, like, bring their character to life. That's a great way to practice. Also, like, Reddit gets drawn where people put up pictures of themselves. And, like, you can find, it's a great practice because you're drawing from that photo. And so, like, things like that are always really fun. But this was the colored pencils. I don't really know what I'm doing. You know, the shading's off. But if you probably just looked at it, I mean, I don't know. You probably wouldn't think it was, like, that bad. Or if you did, you couldn't maybe not be able to pinpoint where exactly I went wrong. But I'm able to do that.
Well, yeah, I think we're all just.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, we're always just hypercritical.
Yeah, you should put yours in the art channel. I like it.
Oh, well. I hate my drawings, personally.
Well, the thing is like, you should definitely put it out there.
It's like one of those things where it's just like, I don't like how I do things, if that makes any sense. Because I just think that everything I do is just terrible.
Well, so, like, okay. So this can apply to Overwatch as well, I think, with the teams. So I'm going to, like, give this sort of weird advice. Whenever like I went to SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design. Like learn to critique in a way like that. When you do concrete, even towards yourself, for everything that you did wrong or could be improved that you pull out there and you're like, okay, well, here's what I did wrong. You also want to say something you did right. Okay, I did this wrong. Okay, but here's something I did right. I like the way I did this. And since I like this, I should continue on it for next time. I try to do that with with Overwatch teams and coaching. I'm not the best coach. I can talk about support, and a lot of times I can be like, something is wrong. But when I try to coach people in support or in gameplay, I do that too. I'm like, okay, here's one thing that you did wrong that we really need to work on. And then here's one thing you did right. Keep doing that. And so that way it's concrete for a reason, constructive, because you want people to get better. But I've had a lot of trouble. Like, there was a team I was on that the coaching / concrete was like not done well. It was very much like just these things are bad, like, you know, this is bad, or and there wasn't any constructive part of that. You know, you don't just tell people they're bad, you want to tell them what to improve on, and that's like a leadership thing that you have to learn. But speaking of teams, this is an Overwatch podcast. I'm gonna invite Astrod. Where's the link? He was like, "You're participating in a podcast?" I was like, "Yeah, come listen to it."
It's in self-promotion.
Astrod is my best friend. For those that don't know who that is, if you've played with me, I probably mentioned him, or if you play with me a decent amount, you've probably met him. He's just been really busy lately. Where the fuck is the? I can say fuck, right? Yeah.
I mean, I say it.
It was in the social media. No, it was
self-promotion.
Self-promotion. Thank you.
Doesn't even know her own team.
I am trying. Like I could see self-promotion in my mind, but now I come up with it.
Listen, Yiggs doesn't need to worry about self-promotion. I'm the one that does, because I'm the one that handles all the streaming crap.
Yes, there you go. It's not even me that does that. Alright.
Yeah, just give her an excuse never to look at that channel ever again.
Okay, so speaking of Overwatch, I want to talk some about OLOC and what's going on there. So I'm sure some people have questions. A lot of this is going to end up in announcements this week too about what is going on. I would like to, maybe I should do an at everyone. This podcast is live. If you have a question, I'll answer it right now. Did I do that?
If you want.
I'm going to do that.
I know there are some things that people are probably wondering regarding finals, which...
yeah, so I've got some things. Here's what I got to talk about. I have some things about finals, talking about that, what happened, why it is being done the way it is. I have some just general things that I want to address as like members of the board to the community. What went wrong this season, what went right, and what's going to happen next season to either change or fix things that went wrong, like, or, you know, why are certain things happening the way they are? I'm going to address those things. That's what I'm going to give everybody, I'm going to give them an at everyone for, to tell them to ask questions. I'm just going to put it in general chat.
At everybody.
Everyone.
I mean, it's definitely a good opportunity since we have both you and me here.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's anybody watching right now anyway. I don't think it is, unless BMG is for some reason watching, which...
Doesn't this get archived? People can go back and listen to it.
Oh, Chubby's here. And so is Samuel I can't fucking say that.
Don't even try.
Whittington. There we go. For some reason, my brain was messing up.
When does your brain not mess up?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Not to bully you.
No, my brain is constantly on, like, what the fuck is going on, especially right now. Hey, Graves
how
is
nice of
here
you to
too!
join us! Eventually he joins us.
For once, Graves
some stuff
is
came up,
not...
so I had to go do that.
That's
So,
okay.
sorry.
I like that Discord was like, did you know if you use that everyone, you're adding 400 people? Do you really want to do this?
No. I didn't type it in.
I feel like this one is fine.
I'm also watching chat too, Yigs, so if people want to say stuff in chat, I can read them out.
That's, yeah, I told them to DM me or you, whomever. I'm gonna give an angry react.
For the first time, you are not the quietest one here.
Yeah,
Very
no.
true.
Oh my god!
Fuck.
The evolution of the gods.
Improvement, I like it. So what all has been going on in here?
Talking about art, and now Yigs is opening up a Q&A regarding
talking about why we should kick you, you know, those just the casual stuff.
Going into next season, kicking you from
me.
board.
Remove me.
So, first of all, I have been sick, not coronavirus, just regular old LP flare, because I stayed up too late playing Monster Hunter.
I told you should get some sleep.
I know, but I was having fun. For those of you that don't know, I have a rare disease called Wayne Payne-Notorious syndrome, and when I have flare-ups, that's what knocks me out, and frequently that's when I'm saying I'm sick, contact somebody else, because I'm having these flare-ups where I'm not super coherent. I know where I am and what I'm saying right now, but it can get a little silly with me getting confused. Like, I just told Askrod, I was like, I didn't accidentally call you and insult you, did I? And he was like, no. And I was like, good. I didn't think I did, but I dreamed about it, and sometimes when I'm in a flare-up, I can't figure out if I actually did that or if I just dreamed it. Like, it's stupid and confusing, and this is my life right now.
Happens.
Yeah, like, with all this corona shit, and I was like, I haven't heard from Yigs in like 3 days. Is she alright?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he was
really
like deeply.
No, because I am immunocompromised. My family is. My grandparents are 81. My mother is 60. We all live in this house together. But I am very well informed on COVID-19, how it works, what we do to stay protected, quarantine. That was another thing. If anybody has any questions and needs to cut through the bullshit of all of the like weird things that are being said in the media and don't know who to believe with all the lies coming from our trash president and things like that. If you need some actual scientific advice or have any questions or are worried about COVID-19, about the state of things, about medically how it works, what you should do, why certain things, what should you do, why some things work, some things don't. Please feel free to ask me. If I don't know the answer, I will absolutely find it for you. I have a lot of contacts at the CDC. I wanted to go into epidemiology. Really wanted to work with the Alexander Langmuir and the boys and virus hunting, the CDC and things like that. And then but I've also got lots of information and things like that. If you're anxious, if you have questions, if you're worried, come ask me questions and I'll cut through the bullshit for you.
But while we wait to see if anybody else is going to join to ask us questions, there is something I wanted to talk about.
Okay,
Disney hero bands! Oh boy.
Ooh, this can be a fun one.
Like,
I don't agree.
Like, so, they came out, and I was playing with some friends, and we all, like, at the same time were thinking, like, the same thing. We can't fucking trust Blizzard anymore.
Could we ever trust them? Let's be real here.
Like,
they've always done something to fuck us up. I'm sorry.
Like, but like, hero bans come out, and Jeff Cameron's like, oh, we're gonna like try and keep it like Overwatch League is. It's gonna be like 1 tank, 2 TPS, 1 support, and it's gonna be like 4 heroes every week. It's like, okay, I'm fine with that. First week, that's exactly what it was. I was fine. Week 2, 2 main heroes banned. Week 3, 2 tanks banned. Week 4, 4 DPS banned.
I wouldn't be surprised next if they literally ban
as well.
Or yeah, they might ban like loads of heroes, and like the only heroes that'll be left is like 6 heroes. Like, you know what I mean? Blizzard might actually go that crazy. They're like, oh, you don't want to play our meta? Well, you're gonna play it now.
I feel like Blizzard is just like throwing darts at a board, and that's what's
Seems
what's
like.
determining. I'm gonna be honest. This week I didn't think was as bad. Of course, I only play healers, and so it's just Baptiste. The pharmacy is like everywhere this week. It's just
They got rid of all of Forest counters.
Yep.
Yeah, he really screwed over hit scan players. Like the only hit scan left is like Ashe, is it?
Yeah, it's like the only thing you can play to counter fire right now is Ashe and Bastion and Torb. Soldier's out, Sombra's out, McCree is out, and Widow is out.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's
and
rough,
then,
buddy.
So is Diva and Bap. So, no tank counters, no support counters.
Alright, guys.
I was playing with some friends and we lost all 5 games in a row because pharmacy. It's fun. We fucking just ate it.
Fortunate.
It's been. I think my opinion, it was sort of like I had a certain opinion going into it, and I think it still stands. I don't really like the hero bans. I think they're unnecessary if you're diamond and below. I get what they're trying to do, but like not really my thing.
If this was in the start of the game, I think no one would have issues. But I think because it's so far into life cycle that now we're like, do we actually want this, or do we just miss like the old Overwatch?
I think it's like. Well, maybe it's that, but like, I thought it was more like this. A lot of times, it seems like Blizzard isn't paying attention to the chess aspect of Overwatch. So one of their big things from the beginning, when they described like their vision for Overwatch, is very much like every hero has a counter, and you can switch to outplay or whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like with the hero bans, they're absolutely not taking that into account. Because they're leaving, like, it seems like each week, they're leaving 1 or 2 heroes with, like, no counter. The other week it was Reaper. There was just, like, nobody with stuns, and you were like, oh, okay. I guess we'll just never counter Reaper this weekend. It's pharmacy. I don't know. I feel like they should be I wish they would either be more open about their criteria for banning, because it seems totally random, or they would perhaps be a little bit more aware of like the common counter plays. Like, so if you have a pharmacy, maybe don't delete the characters we use to deal with pharmacy. Yeah. I'll be interested to see what happens, like how it's gonna do when they get rid of Mercy, because Mercy's like.
I think they're trying their hardest not to remove Mercy. I mean, it's characters who are causing issues anyway. I mean, Mercy hasn't really caused much, except because of how Pharmacy is now. But
yeah,
maybe that's why they've done it, honestly, so they could finally get Mercy out. So they forced Pharmacy to be played, so that they could ban heroes that haven't been banned already. I think that's their reasoning for it.
But they banned Bap twice. Like,
yeah, I guess fuck Bap. I don't.
Yeah, but what you gotta remember is that, like, now Baptiste is, like, cannot be banned again.
Well,
until the week after next.
Like there's no law. They might just ban him again.
Listen,
well, they've said that no hero will be banned twice. So
in a row.
Well, but In a row. Oh, in a row. So yeah, they could absolutely.
They will not be banned 2 weeks in a row. So Bap will be in rotation next week, but the week after he could be out again.
I don't think they would do that, man.
I just think it's rough with the okay. There's not as many tanks and supports, right? So stop banning those. Ban DPS, I guess. I don't know. I just think, again, I think it's unnecessary for, like, Diamond and below.
Yeah, if you're gonna ban DPS, at least maybe don't ban the entire hit scan roster.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, especially in Overwatch, there's the dichotomy that is, like, you play hit scan or non-hit scan. Like, you're severely handicapping the people that play hit scan, especially if you get 2 of them on your team. They have to fight over the last hit scan in the world.
I'm just disappointed that my Sombra's out.
Wait, was she banned?
She's banned this week.
Thank God.
Oh, yes, we got rid of her!
I haven't... Okay, that's why I haven't been nearly as annoyed. I fucking hate Sombra. There was one character from the game... Like, there's 2 characters that I would delete. The first one is Sombra. We all know this. Sombra is a character... Here's why. Sombra is a character that makes the game less fun. You have a character whose entire purpose is just to not let other characters do what they're supposed to. She just shuts them down. Like, that's not fun. I don't like it. The other thing about Sombra is, I don't know if this is just me, or if it's like, this is like the Diamond experience. Whenever I play with a Sombra, they're never in mic, and they never communicate about who they're hacking. Like, it's inevitably they're the one person who's not in mic. It's different if you're in a group with your friends. Like, that's fine. But, like, it's Sombra and Zen are heroes that require a lot of communication. So you can yell, the Pharah has the Discord org, please shoot the Pharah, or whatever, the Pharah is hacked. But inevitably, those 2 characters are never in chat. And so they're just worthless.
Is it a bad thing that I play both those characters?
Well,
oh my God.
I mean, it's fine as long as you're communicating what you're doing. But, like,
the thing is, Yiggs, I'm that person that you're complaining about.
I am, because Sombra...
I have team chat on, but I'm not using mic.
No. So, the thing I don't like about Sombra, notice the only people who ever disagree with ban Sombra are Sombra players, because it's fun to play as her. It is not fun to play against her. If she's on your team, that's whatever, but, like, I don't like her. The other character that I don't think fits in, and I've gone over this before, and it's unpopular opinion time, but it's me just having a consistent opinion. The other person I don't think fits as well is Widowmaker.
I mean...
like, I've gone over this, like, people are going to disagree with me, and I don't really care. I think the reason that she doesn't fit in is because she gets a one-shot kill, and, like, that just doesn't fit in with the counterplay aspect of the game. I understand that she takes a lot of skill, and skill should be rewarded, etc.
Well, that's the reason why. The problem is now, right, we're so far into the game's life cycle that, like, hitting those one-shot headshots are easy, you know, because people have had so much time to practice. When the game was first new, you know, it would be like, oh, I just obliterated that Ana. No way, dude. That's an amazing play. Now we can go in. But now it's just, okay, bang, 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 bang.
Like, at this point, you know, you can still headshot with somebody with Ashe, and it's not a one-shot kill like it is with Widow. Again, this is my personal opinion. I'm not changing my opinion. I understand all of the counterplay and counter-arguments to it, and I just don't agree. So there you go.
That's fair enough, though.
Okay,
I mean,
you want me to make an argument, though, about Sombra? At least she's not as bad as Mei.
I don't think so. No. Okay.
No. Okay, let me put it this way. At least if you're hacked by a Sombra, you can still move.
Okay,
no,
I'm about to tell you something, okay? Okay, this is actually gonna absolutely mind blow you, okay? If you think about it, why do you? I want to ask this now. It's not a rhetorical question. It's more of a question I'm asking you. Why do you think they banned all the heroes right now so they could get far out?
I don't know.
Go on. I can guarantee I know the answer why they've done this, now that I really think about it.
EU players?
No. Because what you got to remember is, what is the meta right now still? It's always been meta. May Reaper. What count as May Reaper? Pharah. What they're trying to do is they're trying to remove May Reaper and see how that affects the game. That's effectively what they're trying to do right now. And I know you can say that, but then you might as well just remove May and Reaper out for one day, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that'll be nice. But then what you got to remember then is there's the albums of a bunch of other issues, right? What they're trying to do is they're trying to keep May and Reaper in, see what the interaction is like against the Pharah, and see if that changes anything. Because I bet you what Blizzard are thinking in their head right now is, what can we do not to just straight up remove these May Reaper players, but put them at less effective. So what they've done is they've gone, let's see what happens when we put a Pharah up against these people. Let's see what happens. Let's see if that then reduces them, or if it makes them, or if they can still play it, right? And I think that's ultimately what they're trying to do. I think the biggest problem with May and Reaper, and I think just generally, like any character that, like such as Sombra, something like that can just shut you down and be like, hey, listen, you ain't playing the game anymore. I'm done, is terrible. Same reason for Sombra when it comes to Reaper. I hate characters who can literally come into a fight, pick off one of my teammates, and then come out scot-free. Or build an ultimate and then literally just be, I'm out of position, but it doesn't matter because I am now invincible. Look at me. I'm invincible. Because the problem is, right, is that when it's a massive team fight going on, whenever your team's fighting someone, the first thing you do is, as soon as someone like a Sombra or a Reaper goes in your backline, the first thing you do is you go, Reaper in the backline, right, on the supports, right? So then everyone's attention goes into the support, right, to kill that Reaper. But then Reaper has just gone, L1, I'm away. What's happened then? Your whole entire team has turned their backs to focus on our Reaper, so your supports don't go down, which means then the front row then of the enemy, they can push up, they can play aggressive because the ground that was just maintained by your team has now been lost because of the Reaper in the backline, and that Reaper doesn't get any punishment whatsoever. He runs out scot-free. Same with me. She causes so much disturbance, and she has two literal cooldowns that literally make her go, hey guys, you saw me a second ago, but yep, wall, I'm out. Oh, cocoon, you ain't doing any damage to me, are you? And I'm also healing, by the way, and also, by the way, I got 250 HP, so try going through that, boys.
I think that, like, I found, okay, so again, this is assuming you're playing with a team that communicates and is good. Me playing with my friends, I tend to play with, like, Death Unbound and Crew a lot. We don't have too much of a problem with May. Like, once you call her, like, she go in her ice block and you bait her, like, then she's just...
That's fair enough. May is somewhat seen because at the end of the day, right, and I'm going to say this much right now, May does affect console players, but she doesn't affect console players as much as PC players, right? Because what happens, if you look at any pro-level thing, right, is what May does... is she works so well with D.Va, right? What happens is, I don't know, we saw this a lot. Like, I mean, what's his name? Who was the best Zen in the world? Jonak, right?
Jonak.
Yeah, Jonak.
He is known to be one of the best Arnas as well, right? As well. So, what happens with him, right? He can't get any value because the first thing that happens in every single team fight, he gets walled away from his team, and then literally the D.Va will just dive on him, kill him. You can't, like, what is your team supposed to do against that? Yes, they could send the D.Va over the wall and try and help, but ultimately, all you really have to try and do is just try and break through that wall, try and negate as much damage as you possibly can. But at a pro level, let's be real, there's going to be so much damage just focus into that Ana that as soon as that Ana's out of position and stuck, she's dead. But, like, in, like, stuff like no offense, but in stuff like the lower ranks, that sort of stuff would never happen. Like, you know, if Ana gets walled by May on your team, maybe your D.Va might go in. But the rest of the team won't back that. The rest of the team won't understand that. Or potentially, that might not even bloody happen because, who knows? There might not even be enough communication for that to even go through. Like, you might wall off that Ana, but there's no saying there'll be a follow-up because there's no guarantee upon that. And I think that's, like, the biggest issue. And I think that's Blizzard's biggest issue is they bounce the game too much off of the pro scene rather than the casual scene. But then what they do then is they then listen to the outcries of like the casuals, right? And the casuals go, we don't like this. So Blizzard go, okay, you don't like it. Hello, pros. How can we fix this? Oh, well, Blizzard, yeah, I would really love if this hero could be banned this week. Oh, would you now? Well, guess what? We'll add a ban feature just for you. And all the casual players like, whoa, Blizzard, we didn't ask for that. We just asked for Fire not to exist. We didn't ask for bans. Chill.
I think what they really need to do to fix some of this issue is they've got to balance PC separate from console. And I think
they have done that though.
Yeah, well,
there are a few changes that are different. I'm just trying to think of like
the other one that they should do is that they need to either decide who they want to balance for. Do we want to balance for casual players or for pro play, and then or both, and then decide where that line of demarcation. The problem is like it's going to be impossible to balance for both.
Yeah.
Just things that are a problem, like you go down and like look at silver and gold, and it's just Bastion is everywhere because they can't kill Bastion. Like, and then Bastion's like not super viable up unless you've got specific comps higher up because everybody can aim and kill him, and it's not an issue anymore. Like, they need to balance it differently. I like the demarcation line of diamond and below is casual, masters and above is not.
Well, I'm going to say this, right, from someone who has a significant background in Rainbow Six Siege. I pretty much came from there. I will tell you something right now. That game suffers from what we like to call casual syndrome, right? Not Blizzard. No. Thank God for that.
Yeah,
Ubisoft.
They don't balance it very well.
Ubisoft, they have like a weird sort of tendency for, hey, if we keep our casual plays up, then we'll be the best game on the market. So what they do is they go, hello, pro players. How can we fix the game? You want us to remove this certain person? Or you want us to nerf this certain aspect? You see, we could do that. Or just give us a sec. Hello, Jim, who plays on every Saturday, who's in silver. How would you like us to do the game? Well, you see, I would like it if this person didn't have this person doesn't have this, and they tailor the game to that aspect, and that's the problem. I understand that balancing it between like casual and like competitive is hard, but if you're going to make any competitive drastic changes, I think surely that the pros, like no offense, the pros are going to know more as they play daily. They play this game for a living. They're going to know, and they're going to know what's best for the game more than someone who plays every single Saturday with their mates.
But the thing is that you also have to consider not just knows best, because again, that is a subjective. Knows best is quote unquote, that's subjective. As far as like that goes, pros know what's good for pros. There was one pro or popular streamer recently. I'm blanking on the name. What they did was they went down into like platinum, and they were talking about like bad habits. You know, you have platinum and in the lower will reward bad habits that aren't the same as upper, because you have to rely on teams up there. Like for example, learning to position on Reinhardt for Masters is completely fucking different than like gold or platinum, where you want to run in and get a kill because your team has no idea how to like push in. They'll sit at the choke for a solid minute. Like it's just, those are two completely different types of play styles that are not able to be balanced. Like, you can't expect everyone to play like pros, so you can't simply balance for pros. But on the other hand, if you're balancing just for casual, well, you're gonna end up with the pros sort of taking advantage of that in weird metas. I think it has to be split. Like, I don't think there's a way to do both and it come out really satisfactory. Because remember, where does the money get made in Overwatch? It's the casuals. They buy loot boxes, they play, they spend money. The pros, Overwatch League brings in money, but like, people who are playing Masters are playing a lot and practicing a lot. They're not buying loot boxes. The casuals are. You have to think about the money. But okay. But beyond that, I wanted to. Well, you guys can wrap that up if you want. I wanted to talk about OLOC in particular.
Yeah, you can go into that. I'm done with what I want to say.
Okay. I mean, you don't have to be. I'm not trying to like cut you off, but I was like, I do want to go into
She
this.
shot me
before I have to go
down,
do
and now
other
she's
things.
leaving me to bleed.
Nobody cares, Sig. Shut the fuck up.
Fuck you,
Fuck
I'm
you,
bleeding.
Sig.
I'm bleeding over here.
Oh, my cats are just so cute. Hi, Nat. Anyway.
Dumb cats.
Okay, so before I like fade out, so I wanted to talk about some of the things that were going on in OLOC. I think I mentioned, I think we're gonna start with, let's go ahead and start with finals and what happened there. So,
Okay.
well, I can dig into that. So this season has been an interesting one. We've found a lot of things that do work and a lot of things that don't work. With the way, what season was this? It's season, I always
4.
Season
3.
4, right? I keep trying to.
I'm going into season
Okay,
4.
4. Okay, 4. So it will be season 5 next time. So in finals, we have ended up with one team forfeit. Seattle Senpai is just pulled out. They don't exist anymore. And then Voltage. So that leaves, and then what happened with Voltage, which I'm going to explain in a minute. So that leaves the Horsemen, and then who was the other team?
Mako?
Mako?
Seattle, Mako, Voltage, Horsemen.
Okay, so the Horsemen really want to fight somebody. I was going to say, let's just let them fight Mako and for the championship. Seattle Senpai's pulled out. And beyond I know the Horsemen were like, they didn't want to just kind of accept the forfeit, which I feel, like, just let them play for it. I'm alright with that. The only other thing would be, like, me getting kind of, like, what is a bunch of random people together to play and just put together...
Sub me in, boss.
Yeah, it would just be, like, a team of, like Fluid and, like, admins, like, whoever I could get together to play them so that,
Mods
they had
versus Horsemen.
Mods
Yo.
versus Horsemen, that was, like, the idea.
Just on a side note, how sick would that be if all the mods, like, reverse each other?
I mean,
I thought
that would be
fun.
fun.
Exactly. So there's that. So what happened with, so we have Mako and we have Horsemen. Well, what happened with Voltage? So the board had the reason that, I'm sure some of you have probably heard rumors or whatnot, what all went on with that, and we're going to have an informal announcement tomorrow. Well, I'll talk about it. 3 members of Voltage were caught cheating. Just straight up account sharing. The board looked into it. We gave them plenty of chances to come forward and not lie. They chose not to take those, so the team has sort of collapsed. Those 3 members, they are Beachy, EWA, and Defenji, and then their various other accounts will be banned from OLOC. The team itself has, I believe, disbanded. If they want to come back together and make a new team, I'm gonna have to have a captain, co-captain that are not members of that. There are several of the people that came forward were whistleblowers. They did, one of them, I know, participated in the account sharing and then came forward and, was upfront and honest about us with it. About it with us, I mean. And then, we had some other members that were saying, I don't care if they cheated, I'm staying by them. So it's sort of kind of a mess now up to the Voltage players. Some of them have asked to be released. If that team is wanting to sort of reform, they will have to come talk to me. But those members, Beachy, Iwa, Defenji, will no longer be welcome here. It was a very unfortunate thing because I tried, the board here, the admins, we want you guys to succeed. We don't want, we don't want to see people fail. We don't want to see people cheat. Like, I gave them chances to come forward and, like, had they talked to me about it and been like, okay, yeah, so we would have cut out those games and then maybe worked with them, but we were lied to multiple times, so I cannot trust that sort of behavior, and it's not fair to the rest of us. I talked to, to Beachy's credit, he eventually, after lying several times, he eventually did come forward and confess to me directly after I talked to him about why OLOC exists. And it's not just about the cheating and about the unfairness. OLOC is a place where a lot of people come to escape. People come from their shitty lives, from their abusive family or parents, from bullies, from anything in their life that is just giving them a rough time, a hard time. Here, this place is an escape where you can mean something, where you can come and compete and contribute and feel safe and have fun. It's a refuge. It's a place where you can come to get advice, where you can come to play with friends and make dumb jokes and compete. Like, it's a place like that. And we don't want to see that wrecked because some people are selfish enough to want to cheat and think themselves above others. So we don't tolerate that. Defenji came forward too. Iwan never did, but they did confess. And so they won't be welcome here, at least not now. For anybody, we have screenshots, we have video, we have all kinds of evidence to back this up. We always do our own investigations. I investigate every rumor. Every time somebody says something comes here, it's always given the benefit of the doubt. I don't believe anything out of pocket. Like, that's just because if I had a nickel for every stupid rumor that somebody's come to me about somebody else, I'd have so much fucking money. But we do our own investigations. Everything is independent to give everyone a fair shake. That team, Voltage, all of them can come forward and discuss, with me or with the board, why is this happening? Why are we looking into it? And that's still open to anybody else. If any other members, if you guys see something going on that's against the rules, that's cheating, that or in this case, Voltage also had a bad atmosphere where the players were encouraged to participate in this and not tell others, not tell the board. If you are ever in that situation, you can anonymously report or come talk to us. If your team is bullying you into doing things like that, if you have knowledge about cheating, and it's just it's a bad situation, come and talk to us, and we'll do our best to deal with it and try to not only cut that in the bud, try to work with people that do that, find out why they do it, why they feel like they need to, and it's a case by case basis. We don't like to see that kind of thing. It's just not fun for everybody.
I just want to say this. What if someone necessarily had, I don't know, someone knew that a team was cheating, maybe for the same reasons or maybe for a different reason, and they knew that if they were the ones to step out of line, if they're the ones that said anything, even if it was anonymous, they know that the team would instantly point fingers at them.
Well,
what would you do in that sort of situation?
So we have had that happen, and I've had that happen twice, and in both situations, the person that reported remained a secret. In fact, in one of those, somebody else got blamed so hard that a different random person got kicked off the team. And so that was a long time ago, and that did get resolved. But we've been able to protect that person. I'd say at least come forward with that information, because I'm going to be honest. Here, it's one of those things where, if somebody is cheating, you have to come from the position that they are doing it. There is always going to be multiple ways that they do it and multiple trains of evidence. If something is true and it's not supposed to be happening, I can investigate that in such a way that, okay, yeah, you tipped me off to it, but there's so many other discrepancies that I can go about it from any angle and not come out where somebody was telling me. At least come talk it over with us. It'll be kept anonymous. And so far we've always been able to find a way that the whistleblower either wasn't found out or that we were able to kick up enough dirt to where there's a benefit of the doubt. In this particular situation, the whistleblower was known. in Voltage, but that was not. They were okay with that. They let the team know that, like, yeah, they were the ones that did it, and that's fine. I know that we had this I'm not going to name names here, but it was kind of an interesting sort of dichotomy about different ways of thinking. We had one member of Voltage who came forward and said, you know, you shouldn't tell the whistleblowers' names because, you know, they won't get picked up on a team because other teams will know that they'll actually come and tell the board if they're cheating. And I was like, oh, okay, so you wouldn't pick them up because if you were cheating, you knew that they wouldn't be loyal enough to, like, tell you that, to, like, keep that a secret. And this person was like, yes. And I was like, I'm going to guess that the majority of OLOC does not feel that way. I'm going to be honest. I would be praising the whistleblower, and I did. My problem would be if there was somebody that wasn't upright enough to be informing the board.
You know, my worry is that with that one comment, I'm like, wait, is there something you don't want us to know about?
Right. I'm going to say that, like, I don't think the whistleblowers are going to get the cold shoulder from other teams because if you're joining a team where your goal is to cheat, you're going to get caught.
Like, I mean, if you don't pick up a person specifically because they blew the whistle, then is there something you're doing that you don't want us to know?
Probably.
I think the case is that if you're not picking up those people, probably you're doing them and the rest of us a favor because most people, blind loyalty or loyalty to somebody random, you know, and screwing over the rest of the league, other people that have been, because remember, you know, Voltage is playing these games and account sharing. There's all these other teams that had to play against them and that absolutely resent them from like, well, we couldn't have won. They were cheating. They had a GM on a diamond account. You know, what, we can't do anything about that. I'm going to guess that most of those teams, as I would be excited about would be thanking the whistleblower because then they would know, you know, all of the bad job they did in playing that game, it wasn't their fault. They couldn't win because they had somebody cheating.
Onyx, can I say something real quick regarding chat right now? Odd. We're just going over the Vulture stuff right now. We will get into what's going on with finals and all that shit.
Right.
Saying that having you guys possibly play Mako, that was just an option that we had thought of. It's not for sure going to happen. We're still looking at options and figuring out what we want to do with it. In my mind, what's probably going to happen is finals is just going to get thrown away.
Yeah. So I'm going to use that to springboard into sort of another thing. So, you know, why are we having this issue where so many, you know, there's not even teams to substitute for other teams? Well, let me explain. The biggest issue that this season has had, you know, some people have come up and been like, well, what's wrong with OLOC? What's wrong with you guys? Like, I'm going to be honest. It's not so much OLOC as it is that we had a lot of teams that joined and then were completely inactive. We had people that joined that completed the requisites and their captains just couldn't or would not get teams to play, would forfeit 3 games in a row. We had a lot of teams do that where they came in all excited to play and then we can't get a hold of them. And I'll tell you that, you know, the board has tried. I have tried. I have gone into these team servers. I have pulled them together. I have added the captains and added the players and tried to get fills. We're not just sitting here throwing our hands up, but that was one of the biggest issues, were that we had people join and then I guess either not take it seriously or they just ended up disbanding. At the end, we had several teams like, let's see, Neptune didn't show up a whole lot and then show up on one game and then disbanded. Seattle, they showed up, but then they just disbanded, didn't want to play finals, you know, didn't want to do that. And that's kind of one of the issues that we've had, are that, you know, we've got teams and captains coming in and then not doing what's required of them to play in a league. And so we would end up with what we have a bunch of teams on paper, and none of them are showing up to games or communicating at all with either the board or other captains. Now, the captains and some teams, those that are active, you know what I'm talking about, where you're having to DM the board and saying, I can't get a time because these people won't respond. That's the biggest issue that we have had this season. Now, in fact, that is, other than that, besides the unique situation with the cheating, that was kind of unprecedented. We've never had that issue before. Besides that, everything did kind of go, it went better, went a little smoothly, but we just had so many people that were not up to the job of captaining. So what I'm going to say about that is, so we're going to maybe try and have that finals game. I know Horseman, wanted to play somebody. I would be up if Horseman and Mako both agree. They want to play each other for first and second place. I'm fine with that. That's something that both teams we can talk about. But here's what is going to happen for next season. We truncated this season. We just cut it short because we just didn't have enough people. We didn't have enough teams. We've got several new teams coming in that are excited to come in. And I think what did we do? We're going to try to do in the next 2 weeks. We're going to try and restart it during quarantine. What I'm going to do is put some, starting tomorrow, I'm going to put some things in place. Like, over the next 2 weeks, this is where we're going to have new teams register and their captains and co-captains register. Some of you have already talked to me. I've got the Quickstart guide up. I will be, also we realized that somehow the new rules got deleted and it's linked to the old rules. I will be completely redoing all of the rules now again, so our league is kind of messed up there. Just to, what the board says goes, what it is it's still what we chose for last season, the cap. What was the cap? 3,500 is
3,500 team average.
3,500, 1 GM cap. You can have as many masters or whatever. That's still true. There's not a minus 100 or anything like that. That's what we'll be going with. I'll be putting that in the rules for teams and captains. So some people are wanting to create a team or bring one in and captain it. So I have the quick start guide for that. I'm going to quickly go over that real quick. And I will be typing that up in announcements tomorrow. What you will need is a team of at least 6 people, preferably 8. You will need to give me their season 20 SR. If that's not available, season 19. And I will need at least 6 people. Every single one of your team members must join the OLOC server. They must message an admin and agree, and then I'll put them in the team role. For the next 2 weeks, if you do not send them to me on your roster, like the captain, that's their job. If you don't send that person to me on their roster, then they're not going to be on your team. So you've got to send that to me. After the 2 weeks, people are going to have to be claimed, just like normal. But that SR, you're going to have to send me the name of your team, your captain and your co-captain. And then at some point, this is the kind of the newer requirement, I'm going to need to speak to each captain and preferably co-captain, but each captain on voice chat at your leisure over the next 2 weeks, where I will be speaking with you about, here's what I need you to do, here's how things are going to go. And that's just to me, Yig, specifically. You can DM me and we'll set up a time, but that's the very least is that you get on voice chat with me at some point and we talk about it. So I can give you all of the information that your team needs to succeed. And I can make sure that you listen, that you're a good captain, that you're participating, because it's your job when you come in as captain. It is your job to get your team together and to keep it together and to get things done. Command, in any situation, you reap the glory. So you get to take credit for when you do well. It's great. But if you fuck up, yeah, that's your fuck up. You have to take credit for that as well. Some people will not be allowed to be captains. I'm not going to just leave a list out here, but these are people that have shown me that they can't keep a team together, that they, especially in the last season, they failed to keep a team together. They failed to register things. Those sort of people will not be allowed to be captains. I'll tell you directly, if you're wanting to bring in a team and you're not allowed, you'll have to be you can be a co-captain. Those people can be, but they cannot be the captain. So it was kind of went all over the place. But I wanted to kind of get it out. Is there any questions you guys have that I can clarify?
No, I think, as far as I'm aware,
Doesn't
anyway,
look
that
like
was...
there's anything being said in chat,
Okay.
so...
Right, so I'm handling bringing in new teams. If you're wanting to create a team or you have a team created, you need to speak to me. I'll try to get back with you as soon as possible. I'm in a flare-up, so sometimes it may take me a little bit, but, you know, I'm here. I will get there.
What about someone like me who's I'm already registered as a scrim team? Do I still have to come to you, or...?
Yes, you will. I mean,
Okay.
I know you. It's a little bit of an exception, you know, but you're still gonna. If some of the teams are scrim teams, if you want that team to be, you know, entering in next season, yes, you'll still have to come to me, and we sort of do a final checklist. The captain interview is. I mean, it's more or less like, these are the people on your team, correct? And you tell me, and I'm like, these are their SRs, right? And you're like, yeah. Or no, and we get all that fixed, and I say, okay, well, here's what I expect from you as a captain, which is, you know, you've got to be able to, you know, be on time. I'm going to ask you, like, if we can't get a hold of you, who do we contact, things like that. Just basically an interview that lets me know that you're taking responsibility. Some of you people know me really well, and I know you, but, you know, so it's not as necessary, but I'm still having it done for everybody. It's like a final checklist, and I'm adding that because some of these people, these captains that failed to, you know, be responsible for their team and failed to do that were people that I couldn't get to even talk to me. So I'm making sure to start that, you know, in the beginning.
How many people do you need on a team, sorry?
At least 6.
You need at least 6.
At least 6, okay.
Preferably 8.
Right, okay.
But at least 6.
And then the team cap is what, 12 or 14?
I'm going to be honest, and this is something that we haven't decided yet. Here's how I feel. I don't feel there should be a cap. I don't really care.
I think there should be, because otherwise someone might just pick up the whole entire server.
Well, I mean,
there was a league
So let me explain real quick where I'm coming from on that. And we can like make that decision. Here's why. One of the ways that I wanted to run a team was to have people on this team that were primary CGL or whatever. They may play one game in OLOC, but they're gonna go on the roster. And I don't, you know, like they're primary doing other things, but it's friends that, you know, want to play. I don't mind if a team has 30 people on it. You can still only play 6 at a time. You know, and you can pick up all the fucking GMs you want, but you can still only play one at a time. I personally don't mind too much about levels, because the more people on a team there are, the less you're going to get to play. So that's up to each individual player if they think that it's worth joining a team with 30 people rather than one with 8. We can do, if you guys want to have a cap, that's fine. I'm not married to a hard cap, and usually if people want an extension over it, I don't have an issue giving that. What do you guys?
I know from experience, I used to be in another league that has since died and is now only remembered by me and some of my friends that I met through that league. There was a team that this league had no team cap. And there was a team that would literally, if a player would be sitting there for like, in free agents for like 2-3 weeks, this team would just pick them up. And it reached a point where they had almost like 50 people on that team. And it was ridiculous because teams were like struggling to find players, and this team had them.
So
I think
okay.
what we need, like, I think 12, like, should be, like, a reasonable number, because at least you've got one person for each role that can sub in. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about having 50 people on one team is, like, here's how it works in, like, I get the principle of it. Here's how it ends up working kind of, like, in real life, is that, you know, I don't think OLOC's going to end up with a team of 50 people, because those people are not going to get played. That's just how it is. If people want to get played, they're going to have to go to a team where there's enough room for them to play. If a team has 30 or 50 people, they ain't getting played. And, but you can't force people to not go on a team that they want. We can definitely set it at like 15 or 16, that's fine. I know that if people request it, I'm usually okay with giving them more, because a lot of times there are people, I know in this league especially because it's not CGL, you know, OLOC is a little bit more casual. I have people that are like, I want to play on a team with my friends. I may not play any game, I might play like one game, and I'm just not going to join any other team except this one. And I'm going to be on the roster so I can play, but I'm only going to play like one, like MJ or Bullet, for example. The plan, you know, that was my idea for Neptune originally when I had started making that team. It was like, we had a bunch of people that were maybe going to play like one game. Yeah, we can set a limit. I don't mind, you know, like usually it's not hard, fast limit, but that's fine.
Maybe like we have a cap on like players who can play consistently, and then maybe we can like if a team captain comes to like you for a say and they go, listen, my friend just wants to play on the side every now and then. Is it okay if you make an exception and they come in? Like maybe we can do something like that.
Well, see,
so
that's
rather
how
than
it worked is we did have, what do we have now? It was like 16 people.
I think it's
and
like
then
16.
And then there were several teams that brought in like random people and would ask me for an exception, and I would give them one. So we can have it. I mean, it's just like if I'm granting exceptions, is there a point?
I mean, there could be the main roster and then like
you know what I mean?
an auxiliary roster, like just in case.
Like
Yeah.
that's I like to tend to do Occam's razor. Having an auxiliary roster to check is like kind of frustrating. My point is that we can definitely have one. I'm not sure if there's a point if it's not adhered to hard and fast. But there can be. We can say.
I mean, I know you did bring up, at least in Discord, wanting to do like a board meeting to iron things out for next season, but it's definitely something we might want to bring up for that. And Izzy, you don't need 16 people. It's 6 minimum, 16 max.
Yeah. I just, like, again, I mean, we can always also ask the community, do you guys want a max level? I just know, like, I've not run into too many teams that are even at a problem with a 16 limit. I think we had one team that picked up a bunch of people, and that's because there are some teams that are kind of like not just a team, but rather an organization that spans several leagues, and so they'll have 20 people on their roster because, like, they've got like a bunch of diamond people for like OLOC, and then maybe for CGL they got a bunch of masters and GM people. I mean, it doesn't super matter. It's not really like.
I mean, yeah,
we can have a cap and then just grant exceptions. I mean, the thing is, if we're granting exceptions, I'm not sure what the point of the cap is in the first place.
Well, the point in the cap is so that, like, say now if I'm a free agent player, right, I ain't just getting sucked up by this team because they don't. Because listen to this, yeah. If you really think about it, right, I could be sitting there now as a team captain and being like just watching free agents every single day. Someone pops up in it, and I go swoop, right? And now I know what your argument is that well, that person's probably not going to get any time to play, so they're just going to leave, and then they'll go back into free agents, and then no one picks them up. And then what happens to them then? So some people might just go, screw it, I'll just stay in this team, I don't care.
Well, the thing is like, that's fine. It's not my fault if they're not being, like, if they're not being picked up. It's absolutely their prerogative to go to a team and just sit there with the hopes of being played. I'm not going to deny them that.
Yeah, but then also
my thing is like, if this is the way I am. If I'm a free agent and I get picked up I'm sitting there and I want to play, and there's a team and they have 50 people and they pick me up, I'd be thinking, I'd be weighing that against, well, do I actually want to go to that team, or do I want to go to this team with 8 people where I'll get played more, or neither? I can turn them down and stay on free agents. If nobody picks me up at all, well, at least being on the team of 30 people gives me a chance to play, whereas while I'm on free agents, I ain't got a chance at all.
Okay, well, let me put this into more perspective. This in my head anyway makes a lot more sense. So your whole thing is that these teams, obviously, some people are coming to you and wanting to put their teams in, but they can't manage it. Like, are we really going to allow people to have like 30 odd people that then we don't even know what the hell's going on with it? Because you think about it, right?
I think that's a bit of a straw man argument because I've not had that issue. My issue is never with teams of 30 people that we don't know what they're doing. It is teams of like 6 or 8 and they never show up. They can't, and like, the thing is like, again, if a team is picking up lots of free agents, again, I don't care because they're active. We're not going to have an issue where there's a team that picks up a bunch of people and then never plays. So that's not really a great argument. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something to bring up with the board meeting going into next season to figure out that stuff.
It's not that big of an issue either way. It's just, I mean, I'm just presenting how I feel about it, and it doesn't matter to me. We can absolutely have a cap, and then I guess if you've got 16 people and then your friend wants to join, just, I guess, fuck them, they can't, and that's fine if that's how we want to run it.
Alright,
whatever. Not a big deal, really.
There was something else I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, and raising a minimum might also be a good thing. It's going to be something that's brought up in the board meeting going into next season, so...
Yeah. I do have one thing that somebody...
Things are not set in stone right now, so just keep that in mind.
So, a couple of things that I was thinking about with this. One thing somebody was asking about All-Stars for this season. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to run that. The season was truncated. I wouldn't even know how to go about getting people for that. I would be okay with instead of running All-Stars. If you guys want to do something, because, for 2 weeks we're getting new teams registered, if we want to do something like mini games or whatever, that's fine. Instead of All-Stars, I personally would like to run something like Pugs. Exhibition pugs. That way people, teams can come and look at people and form over All-Stars.
And I would love to stream those too, as I'm going to be dedicating more time to that.
I would much prefer that and just call that All-Stars, because at this point, we had like so many teams leave, and then some people on those teams are on different teams or still in free agents. Some just fucking left. I wouldn't know how to even like gather up people for All-Stars. Personally, in starting this new season, I would like to direct attention towards that and toward making sure that these new teams were active over like sitting there and just doing a bunch of like All-Stars. I would rather do Pugs or even mini games, like the fucking Thomas the Train Engine is my new favorite thing. Like, if we want to do that, I would much rather be running Pugs, and I'll be glad to host them.
Something though, there is something I would love to do though.
Yeah.
Mods.
Do that?
I would love to do a mods versus server game.
That'd
be sick. Yo, that would be sick. No, it'd be sick, yeah? If literally as the mods here, we build like a small little team just for this, and then we go through like so all the teams we have left right now, yeah? We go through them and like basically the person who came last will verse them first, and we'll see how far we can get up.
Okay, alright, so I love that idea. We could run that instead of All-Stars. Sounds like fun. Would you guys, since I'm going to be handling new teams and doing the rules, I would like to hand this to you guys to sort of organize for next week.
I mean, it's definitely going to have to be streamed, so I'm going to have to get somebody that's not playing, and then I'm also going to have to stream it, so I wouldn't be able to play in that, though I would fucking love to.
I think we could probably get somebody.
Mods versus Horseman, that's what I said, is it?
Yo, I'm just saying, I can cast and I can play, so
I've got somebody that can... my girlfriend can stream it. Let's do that. We can have her
I
stream it.
I can give her I can add her as a manager in for the OLOC YouTube so she can stream it.
Okay, so I'll talk to her about that, and you and I both will, and we'll get her to do that. Arrow can also do it. So like, yeah, if you guys want to like put, I don't know how we would choose the other team, but I'm here for it. Like, I'm gonna let you guys come up with that. What I'm gonna be doing is I'm going to, for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be focusing on getting these teams registered and talking to the captains. Like, that is my job. That's what I will do, and then rewriting the rules. Everybody else, doing this and doing pugs, like, I'd love to see some pugs during the week as well. We're under quarantine, might as well have fun with that.
There's actually one going on right now as we speak that Cal had started, yeah.
I fucking love that. Let's do that, yeah.
Yeah, we should maybe get some, like, just, like, smaller, like, Overwatch mini-games. I know you said, because I can't remember who said as them, but like you said, there's someone that gets all like the wacky ones and stuff like that. That'd be cool, just to
things like
just maybe like a Tuesday night or something like that. Yeah, exactly. Like maybe we can have like a schedule, so you can go like, this day we do this.
Over trying to do like an all stars vote, because this is open for anybody that's here. Excuse me, like hiccuping. I think it would be. That's what I like.
I know there was something that I just want to reiterate. We said it, I think, last week on the podcast or the week before about going into next season to make sure captains are being active. We are doing a preseason for next season.
That's right, we are doing that.
And those games, I can confirm, will be streamed. I will make sure they are streamed.
So that's one of the things that I will be talking to each captain about is the preseason. I think We've not quite decided on if it was going to be 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I'll get a vote on that.
I think it was 3 weeks that we decided on. So teams have to show up, or at least 2 of them to qualify.
Right. This preseason is making sure that your team can show up, and your captain can show up. And if you cannot do these things, you will be booted or. Well, I don't want to boot the whole team. If you guys cannot, if a team cannot show up and things like that, you will have to be revamped, and it will have to be fixed by the time we go into the actual season. And what it'll be is that you have to make 2 out of 3 games that week. One could be a forfeit. We'd prefer that they're not at all, but think of it as kind of like a scrim time, getting to know some new teams, getting to especially pick some new players, pick them up, try them out in the preseason.
That, and it also helps get your team's name out there since they will be streamed, so all of us casters will know what to look for and what you guys are able to do going into the next season, so hopefully...
And I can make sure that my casting's not trash, because my casting can come trash sometimes if I don't practice.
Speaking of casting and streaming, this season we are also looking for, new casters and streamers to fold into the umbrella. Sometimes we don't have enough, or we have like 3 games scheduled within like an hour of each other, and my internet's a potato, so like contact Farrell and Sig about that. They will. We're always looking for, if you ever wanted to learn to cast and we're interested in it.
That was actually something I wanted to speak to you about. I might as well mention it here. But I really wanted to maybe do like these things that we could do within like the server, that we could do like these like almost like workshop type things. Like, I don't know, me and Pharrell, for instance, we'll sit down one day, like this podcast type thing, and then we'll talk about like our experiences as casters, how people can get into that sort of stuff. And like, we can talk about like, we can also do then like, I don't know, we can get a couple of team captains on, and they can talk about like how to build a team, how they went about building a team, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Just so if new people are coming in, like they sort of have an understanding on how stuff works, and if they wanted to potentially get into that sort of thing, you could just go, oh, listen, you want to become a caster? Listen, watch this video. This will explain a lot of what's going on and what you can do. I think stuff like that is just very good in general, just so everyone is more understanding how all the systems sort of work.
I can make a special playlist for that too. We'll do it live and then have them all just somewhere, and then make a special playlist that's labeled workshop, and each stream will be like workshop for casters, workshop for becoming a captain, and so on and so on.
And like onto that, like since we decided we want to do some of these like workshops, maybe the mod game, things like that. You guys can interview if anybody wants to try to cast in. That's a great sort of like introductory thing where we're messing around. You want to try to stream cast,
Also,
I think it would be cool
contact
getting the team captains to cast like our game.
Yes!
Getting the other team captains to cast. Having a whole role reversal type thing going on.
You've heard me talk, now hear these guys talk.
Yeah, we could do that for the mod team so they can like make fun of us while playing. It'll be good. I love this idea.
Yeah.
But
you guys can,
something
like,
I
work
also
on this,
you go.
this week and next. Go ahead.
It was something relating to next season if we were moving on from this. But
Go for it, yeah.
something I do want to say. Me and Sig have been talking. We talked a little bit about this before the podcast started. Is I am going to try and make the streams a little bit better, try and improve them a little bit. I am moving myself to fans basically after this season. I am leaving teams. I am stop being a captain. I'm dedicating my time to being an admin and casting and streaming games. So, because I'm doing that, I'm going to be putting some more stuff into making the streams better. So, me and Sig are already talking about this, so keep an eye out for that stuff as next season comes around. I'm excited for I've got some big plans, basically.
I also want to say this. I might as well say it now because it's never going to get done otherwise. If you have any clips on this season that you liked or like that are montage worthy, if you will send me which game it was and timestamp, at the end of the season I'm going to be creating a montage for the winning team, all their sorts of plays and stuff like that, and I'm also going to create one just as a general league type thing. And if your clip was really, really good, going into the next season, I'm hopefully going to be making some kind of like promotional trailer for it. So, your clip could be featured in that. So if you do want to get that featured, all you have to do is just message me what game it was and the timestamp.
The other thing that I did want to say is that one of the things about OLOC is launching, we like to hear, it's your league. You guys are the community that make this happen. Mods we sit around and like, we're here to do what you guys want. If anybody has any suggestions, questions, criticism, things they want to know about or ideas that they have, things they'd want to be, they want to gather data on, vote for, whatever, contact one of us and we'll put that shit in the voting channel. Or announcements, things like that, if you guys have questions. I know, for example, like a couple of things I'm going to be putting on there tomorrow for us to look at is like, do we want hero bands for next season?
I'm down with that. I've already got a game mode set up for it though.
Yeah, I mean, I know how I would feel. I don't want it, but I'm just one vote. If everybody else wants it, they and how we would do it, we're gonna put that up and let the community.
I know we've already discussed how we would implement it if people want it, and the current idea is it would be a week behind what Blizzard did. So. Right. Like, if we were to start the season next week with hero bans, that means this week's bans would be next week's for OLOC.
So get ready the pharmacy out.
There's a problem that I can only see with that. So, obviously, Blizzard have stated that if nobody actually likes this feature, they'll remove it next season. So, what if we're halfway through a season, and the next season rolls around, and there is no hero bans? What do we do then?
Yeah, that's another issue I've brought up.
We won't have any hero bans. It'll just be open again. So we'll just follow what they do, and that would be fine.
It would be better if we maybe follow OWL rather than what Blizzard ban inside the comp.
Well, that's something I can add on. Do we want to follow OWL or do we want to follow whatever's in
but whatever we choose to follow, it would basically be the week behind. So,
right. So that you guys would have some advance notice and be able to practice that stuff in advance, which is important. And so, and Farrell came up with that because I was like, how would we even do that? And he was like, well, this is how. I was like, that's really smart because then people can practice. Because I know for some of us, like, I'm gonna have issues if they be banning Lucio, but it's gonna be fine. So that's one of the things we were asking about. I think there was like something else that I had thought about that I was like, oh, we need to ask that too. I don't remember what it was. I'll remember eventually. Yeah, okay, so kind of addressing everything. So we got good things planned for this would be season 5, yeah. And the preseason, we've got, hopefully
Actually, I think I did have them wrong. I think we were in season 3 and we're going into season 4.
I don't know what season
Don't
thought I was
what
right.
season we're saying in the
I was
podcast.
right. Yo, I thought I was right, fam. It is season 3 going into
It is season 3.
I swear.
We're technically in the 4th season ever of the league. We had season 0, the test season, and then the official season 1, 2, and then this is 3.
Okay, so next season is 4. That's fine. Okay, that's good. And yeah, so we're able to fix some of the issues that we had last season, which again, was like kind of a whole new thing. And in this season, yeah, I'll be fixing the rules. If anybody has, questions, complaints, ideas, comments, concrete, just criticism, or whatever, just DM us and we'll talk about it. It's gonna be really good. Gonna be good.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm excited for next season.
I am too. It's gonna be good. I am fading fast, so.
Yeah, and we've been going about this for about 2 hours, so we're hitting that point anyway.
Oh, okay. Great. Fair enough.
So
These always take so long, and we always just see like, oh, it's been like half an hour.
Lose track of time, I guess.
I never shut up. That's my thing. I don't know what's wrong with y'all.
Shig, have you ever listened to podcasts?
I know they're supposed to be long, but like
They normally go for like between an hour to 2 hours.
Is this people like talking about shit? Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that, but like with us, it's like. I don't know, I feel like, it's only been half an hour. I look at the clock, I'm like, bloody hell, it's midnight for me, what the bloody hell's going
on? I know there are a couple people, Chubby and Izzy in chat, asking about possibly doing a little game night tonight, which I'm all for if you guys are down for that.
Hey, man's always down.
I'll probably do it on my Twitch like I normally do. So, I'll make sure to post that in self-promotion so people know
okay, we'll see.
where to find it so they can see what's going on. Because if we're doing Jackbox like that, then you guys need to see what's going on my screen.
Yeah, and that'll work. We also have, I think Peachy has it, and then yeah, whatever we're doing, I don't know.
Yeah, Chubby and Izzy I'll make sure to invite you guys if somebody else doesn't.
Okay, gotcha. If I can't play it, that's fine. I'll watch. It'll be fun.
Okay.
Do you have another pack, or is that the only pack that you have at the minute?
I have Jackboxes 1, 2, and 3.
I have Drawful. Peachy has 4, and I think Chubby has.
I want, like, which one does I want? I think I wanted, like, I think it was either 4 or 5. It's the one with the rap one in it. It's sick as hell.
I don't know that one. I've never played that one. So
it's like you make up lyrics and like you verse each other in a rap battle and like the robots speak for you and shit. It's class.
Oh god. Is that Jackbox? It might be Jackbox 4.
I'll have a look now.
Or is there?
Oh, it's 5. Of course, it's 5.
It's 5.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on how expensive it is, I might just buy it.
It's 25. 25 for me, so it's probably about 30 for you.
They might be on sale because there's a sale right now.
Yeah, it might be on sale. I'll look it up and see if it's...
Maybe for you. It's not for me, but I mean, you usually have different deals between countries.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, I'll look it up, and because I'm a little tight on money because I am out of a job right now due to quarantine and shit. So
how much you got?
Yeah, one of us can cover it.
I have enough, Sig. It's just I don't want to spend just in case something comes up.
Yeah, I know. I was just wondering if you were like a couple of off. Like I probably could have sent you some, but if you don't want it. Like, I
Yeah, no,
don't make any stretches. Like, I'd rather you not like eat for the next 2 days because I want to play this.
Yeah, no, I have.
Game.
Are we still on stream?
We are still on stream currently.
Okay, I'm not
Get the
gonna
community to donate.
Guys, please, money.
Once again, asking for financial support.
I will say this though, the rap game is like the best. I'm just saying, you get a proper crack out of it because it's like you all like verse each other in a rap battle. It's like done deal. I see so many people play this. Oh, I know the other games are liking it, but
Yeah, I don't know what other games are on there, but I am.
Okay.
looks like there's like trivia ones.
Not trivia sounds.
I don't even know what the hell that is. I'm looking at the pictures like.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go ask the other people.
Other people.
Okay, it says what it is. So it's a pop culture trivia mashup game. What the fuck that is? A what if games, which splits the room, creates strange diversions, hypothetical. I cannot English. Oh, I'm sorry. And there's the lyric writing game, which is the Madverse City, which is like the rapping one. And it's a competitive drawing game. Painfully stupid, create odd inventions to solve bizarre problems. And the deadliest game show in the Crab Nebula, Zeeble Dome, fling yourself at bloodthirsty aliens. What?
What? Kind of shit.
Nanny? Oh, what the hell? Rona, why have you done this to us?
So, what are we doing?
Alright, well, I think we've hit that point.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. So,
The steam train's running out of coal.
yeah, I'm gonna probably in like an hour or so, because I'm gonna go down and eat.
Okay, yeah, let's see if we want to play in like an hour.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
I'm gonna go down and eat dinner, so, and I'm gonna
Sounds
check
good.
on Party Pack 5, see how much that is. I'll probably end up buying it, regardless of how much it is, but...
We can also pull resources. I'll toss you $5 or whatever, like, because we're all
Yeah.
using it. That's fine.
At the end of the day, right, I can't give you anything right now, but like honestly, I could probably reimburse you in like the next week or so.
Well, if
Or even
it's
tomorrow
like
if I get paid.
$15, then that's like...
We don't need to get it right now, because we haven't even played all the ones we already have. Let's at least do that first, and then we'll see about it.
Yeah.
What
And
other
then
ones
we
you
can
say you
all
got? You got
save together.
I have 1, 2, and 3. There was a deal where I could get like all 3 of them for $30 in a bundle.
Yeah, Peachy has 4, maybe, and Chubby might have 5. I'm not sure. We'll have to ask.
Okay.
Yeah, if somebody's got it, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, you should probably ask around before you go making any drastic
And
decisions, to be honest.
I got Drawful for us to play.
That's on Party
That's-
Pack 1, so I also have that.
Yeah. Oh, I have like the second one, whatever. Instead of, I know
Should-
there's the original, and then
they
there's
should
like
put
the
all-
expansion.
all
I have
the-
that one.
They should just put all the games on it, fam. We could have just bought like what do you call it, alone, like.
They did. They have one pack that's like, and it's like $100, which I'm not dropping, but like
Jesus.
it has like everything.
Yeah, but what I mean is like individually, you should be able to buy each game individually.
can.
Like, so,
You can.
You can't. Yeah. I wish you could.
Yanks has
Just
just
buy-
Drawful.
yeah, but like I wish you could just buy Rap City, fam.
I think you can.
Let me have a look. I
Alright.
don't see a boss one.
Okay, so
So-
we're gonna go do things and come back together, right?
Yeah,
Or-
and it probably won't be on the OLOC YouTube, it'll probably be on my Twitch or somebody else's Twitch,
No, that's
but
fine.
those will be posted to self-promotion, so...
I think Chubby wanted to come, and then I'm sure Peachy and Arrow want to come.
Chubby wants to come, Izzy, I am going to invite you, so do not worry.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Peachy will probably come.
More than I know.
Askrod might.
That'd be a rare sight.
We'll have some fun tonight.
Yeah. Also, in case you do look at it and before you buy, make sure you ask.
Yes, I will make sure to ask. But
I don't want you to be in financial thing, and you're like, wait a minute, someone else said it.
I am receiving unemployment right now due to COVID, so I'm not like
Nope, I'm
super
on
strapped where I'm
food
like
stamps.
I'm not gonna be able to eat for like a week if I do this, and I also have enough saved up of my own money from my job before all this COVID stuff, so I should be fine, even if I do
Yeah,
buy
no,
it.
like
But
I'm not. Like I said, that's why I keep saying it, because I don't want you to push yourself, mate. Don't do that.
yeah,
That's a bad idea.
I'm just being more careful than I normally am.
Yeah, that's fair enough, mate. Like, don't go make any drastic decisions. Like, that'll be like the worst thing in the world for you to do.
Alright,
Yeah.
well, with that, thank you guys for joining us this week. Once again, if you have any questions regarding next season or going into finals or what's going to happen in these off weeks, don't be afraid to contact me or Yigs are probably going to be the best for you to contact, but if we are unavailable, another board member I'm sure would be happy to help you. So, please don't be afraid to contact one of us with any questions you have. We are looking into next season. Once again, captains, remember what Yig said. If you want to bring in a team, go to her. She'll be dealing with all of that. And if you want to become a streamer or a caster, you know who to call.
Who are you gonna call?
No one.
Happy Totodile!
Alright, I'm gonna go get some food, and...
Alright.
Alright, well, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you guys for joining me on
Thank
the
you
podcast.
for having me.
And I hope to see everybody again in the next one.